To Nanny News. I am your host, Ashley, and you can follow us on all social media platforms at The Nanny News. Nanny News is a channel that shares the juiciest stories that take place in the nanny industry. A couple weeks ago, we sat down with the face and the owner of the Black Nanny Network, Simone. She shared her story and her journey of how she became an au pair in London and is now working full time with high profile families in LA. If you have not checked out that episode, I highly suggest you do. In the episode before that, we sat down with the nanny of the year, Angela Southern Johnson. If you have not checked that episode out either, I don't know what y'all doing. You're missing out. Today's episode, though, we're going to hit on a few different stories because some things have been happening in this industry. We have a nanny that wakes up at 3:30 a.m. every single day to train. So we're going to hit on that. We're going to talk about how a model is facing backlash now after sharing a video of her Filipino nanny returning home after 30 years. And then also, we're going to talk about how this billionaire family in London is seeking a dog nanny and paying up to over 100K salary. So sit back, relax, and let's get to the juiciness of this. All right, for the first story we're going to hit on is about a nanny named Chris. The reason why we're talking about this nanny is because she is a full-time nanny, but she is also a ultra marathon and CrossFit runner, and she shared an insight of what she does every single day. She is not like half of us nannies, um, and she is I envy her because I'm like, I don't know how she does this. But she starts her day every day at 3:30 with an hour run working out, an hour run of running, and then she does in 90 minutes of a CrossFit workout, and then she goes to work with. She has a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old that she works in full time as well. She works with her kids Monday through Thursday, and then this allows her to travel Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. She said that she is basically gone at competitions from March all the way through November. Almost every weekend, she is at a different type of competition, either judging the competitions or actually participating in them. Um, she says that nannying has allowed her to be able to do her CrossFit and able to enjoy this journey that she is on, because nannying is her job. That's her full-time job. That's her career. That's where she gets her money. But when she goes to the gym and does the CrossFit trainings and the running, that's not really her job. She says it's more as a fun, so she's able to more enjoy it more because that's not what she's making her money off of. So I thought it was just really cool and kind of insight of like, she said that any of us can do it. Anybody can really do anything. She said it's always a matter about how you think about it. It's all about the mental aspect of it. She said that a lot of people around her are always telling her, "You're crazy. You're doing this. That's I don't know how you're doing it." But she said it's all about how you think about it and go about it, which I think we can all agree that that is very true. If you guys want to check out this episode, this article, I'm going to link it below. It's called "A Full-Time Nanny, an Elite Endurance Runner. She wakes up at 3 a.m. to train." I mean, it's literally she works at 3 a.m. every day, guys. 3:30 actually every day, and then goes works the full-time kids. Like, oh, we gotta stop complaining because if she could do it, we all can do it. Check out the link below for that full article. We're going to move forward to the next article. I know you guys have seen this article around because I've seen it reposted a few times on some of my nanny friends' pages. But this is a model. Her name is Lexi J, and she is a TikToker. And she posted a video about back in May about how she is visiting with her nanny, her Filipino nanny, and they're returning back to her nanny's family's home for the first time in 30 years. She said that this nanny has been with her since diapers to preschool graduation, to middle school graduation, to all the way up to college graduation. So this nanny has been with this family for the 30 years that she's been working. And the family and then the TikToker Lexi got a lot of backlash from us nannies about how is this in the world? Is this the first time that this nanny is visiting her family for the first time in 30 years? Um, you guys don't really know, that's kind of the big thing about the Filipinos, and that's one thing that Nannypreneur magazine is what we're trying to work on and get fixed. Start bringing awareness to this. But this happens a lot in the Philippines where the nannies will come over, which they call the nannies in Philippines yayas. They will come over here to the United States and they will work with very high profile families, families that can pay them very well. And they will send pretty much every penny that they make to their family back in the Philippines. And they will stay here and do that year after year after year after year without even visiting their family back at home, and without even their family back at home don't even know the name, like the mom, like their kids back at home. I don't really know her. I read this one article about how this one Filipino came over here and she would just send money back and then she would go visit her kids after about 15 years of doing that, and her kids didn't even really know who she was, because she wasn't part of their life really. And I just think it's very sad. And that's what happened to this nanny. She's been working with this family for over 30 years. And a lot of people are saying in the comments, like, how is this the first time that she's ever visiting her family? Why haven't you guys ever flown her out there before? Why haven't you helped her get her a working visa? All these backlash things. And the TikToker ended up removing the video because there was so much backlash off of it. But this is a very high awareness, just to bring awareness to you guys that this happens a lot in the industry, and this is something that we as nannies could fix and bring awareness to. I know the National Domestic Workers Alliance has been putting in a lot of work with us domestic workers and making sure that there's laws and regulations for that, especially for domestic workers coming from other countries. Some families will use the au pair and the title of au pairs and Filipino nannies, or just having yayas as a tool to use and abuse, because some of these people that are coming over to our country don't really realize how it works and how you're not supposed to just be working all the time and just all the time. Like, that's like illegal in some ages. But this story is very high. It's very interesting. The TikToker basically she removed her video saying that this was her nanny's decision, not their decision. Blah 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 blah. It wasn't really yeah, it was interesting. I felt really, I'm not really sure about the whole incident behind the nanny. I'm not sure why the nanny has decided not to go visit her family for 30 years. I'm not sure if the nanny was allowed to. Nothing of that aspect is in this article. But it does just bring awareness that this happens a lot. And little did you know that this TikToker didn't realize what she was maybe doing by posting this, that she's visiting her nanny family after 30 years. I just can't even imagine being a nanny and coming from across the United States and not seeing my family for 30 years and then going back. Don't know the whole entire backstory, so I don't want to just judge off of that. But based off of some of my knowledge of how the Philippines work and then coming out here to the US, I can see that this is very prone and often very common. Um, we did do an article a few months ago, probably last year. I might do a little description. I'll put it in the description box. Basically about high end nannies living in these high end families, and it just did a more in depth look of nannies in that are working with the richest. It was a YouTube channel video, and then we did a diagnostic episode about it. So I'll click that link below. This story ties along with that video, because in that video it showed this nanny that did the exact same thing. She actually did the interview and said that she doesn't even know her kids and her kids don't know her. So it's just juicy. You guys, if you don't know much about the Philippines or how the yayas work out there, or how the industry may work, our industry may work out there, I highly suggest you do some research, because this is very common, and it's very sad that this happens like this. All right, guys, kind of moving forward, kind of just moving. We're just moving different stories to different stories, back to back. I don't know if you guys been seeing this, but if you, this is just so crazy to me. There's a nanny, or there's this family, a billionaire family in London, UK, that did post a job listing. Well, they went to an agency, a high profile agency in the London area, and asked them to help them find a nanny, but not just no regular full-time nanny. They needed a dog nanny for their two dogs. And this dog nanny was very luxury. They're paying over $127,000 in the US for this job. They do say that the job does come with some requirements, though. You're basically going to be kind of working an on-call type thing where you kind of just have to drop everything what you're doing to go help the dogs and any needs that they may need. Um, you're obviously keep taking or making sure that the dogs are well fed, happy as they can be, taking them on walks, dog parks, things like that. The job posting actually was removed because they did end up filling the job, but there was over 2,000 job applications that put it in for this one job. I can't even imagine being a dog nanny. Like that vision in that vibe would be so different than being with kids, but I think it would be actually kind of dope. And I'm wondering if any of you consider yourself as a dog nanny. I know some of us have a lot, I know most of our nanny families, not most, but I know a lot of our nanny families have dogs that are there, like they have dogs in their house. And I'm wondering if some of you guys have this responsibility of taking care of those dogs because I got a little dog at one of my families that I take care of. I don't really pick him up, drop him off, take him on walks sometimes, but I don't really consider myself a dog nanny because that's not really my job title. But I want to know, would you ever be a dog nanny? Would you ever just drop working with the kids and going straight to the dogs if you can make good money in a full-time gig off of it? Because I'm telling you guys right now that it is starting to become more and more prone. I'm starting to see more and more stories about people becoming dog nannies and getting paid very well, sometimes more than us people that watch the kids. And some people will pay high money for these little dogs and their babies. So comment below and let me know, have you ever thought about being a dog nanny? Um, if you guys ever come across a juicy story in your search or internet blogging that you do, please send them over to us. We would love to share them here at Nanny News. We do not catch all the juicy stories as it's just me that's doing the researching, but I could use your guys' eyes as well. I know that there is a very big story going around right now about this nanny and how she posted. She makes like $167 a year and basically works about part-time half the year and then goes to Broadway shows. I am going to touch base on that story next week. I found a little article of it. I'm trying to see if I can find the actual girl that is doing it to see if I can do a little interview with her. So I'm trying to do a little bit backstory because that story has been posted like everywhere. And I wanted to see if I could dive deep into it. But these are the stories that we hit today. We got a full-time nanny that is a endurance runner, a CrossFitter. So if you are thinking about getting back in the gym, we'll read that story. We got a nanny that had some backlash after posting her Filipino nanny returning home after 30 years. And then we talked about a billionaire family looking for a high-end dog nanny. So, guys, comment below which one is your favorite. If you thought about being a dog nanny, would you be a dog nanny? How do you feel about the Philippines nannies? Would you ever wake up at 3:30 in the morning to go work out and then go work full time with kids that are 2 and 4 years old? Let me know. And in the meantime, guys, check us back. We have a very amazing I have a amazing interview scheduled here soon with one of my friends. She went through a very kind of traumatic thing out here in Vegas, and we are actually going to sit down in person and do an interview, which is very exciting for me as all of mine have been on Zoom so far. So guys, just stay tuned for Nanny News. We got some things stoned upon us. We got yeah, just got some really good juicy stories and some good interviews, some part 2 interviews coming up, and then yeah, more juiciness. Um so make sure you guys like and comment this video. Make sure you guys go tell a friend about Nanny News so we can get our subscribers and our watch views back up. And thanks guys for tuning in for Nanny News, and we will see you guys all next time. Bye.